After a deadly spree of violence across New York City over the weekend.
We already know the numbers from this weekend, and they are downright discouraging. This morning, the city's major tabloids recount a holiday weekend when gun violence did not take a holiday. According to new police department statistics, yesterday there were 30 shooting incidents with 48 victims, 9 of whom died. On Saturday, there were 7 incidents with 7 victims.
At least 9 have died. In one violent stretch between midnight and 9 a.m. today, the NYPD says there were 21 shootings and 37 victims. CBS 2's Corey James is live in East Harlem with more. Corey.
And Jessica, police have since reopened this block that was shut down hours ago after that 15-year-old boy was shot in the chest. It is unclear what started this shooting, what led up to the altercation, but what is clear is that in comparison to this time last year, the number of shootings have gone up 140%. Crime scene tape stretched across Madison and East 110th in Harlem Sunday, where police investigated the shooting of a teenager.
Kind of common around here, this neighborhood. It's common. You know, it happens. You know, every summer's the same thing.
It's sad. It's sad. It don't feel right. Waking up, somebody got killed right in front of my house. I got boys and all that.
The police department was not spared from the weekend's gun violence. On Saturday night, a bullet pierced the windshield of a marked SUV outside the 40th precinct.
Elsewhere, this weekend's violence taking an especially hard toll among young children. In Chicago, 8 people were shot on Saturday, including a 7-year-old girl killed along a sidewalk.
Waking up with us this morning. At least 14 people are wounded in 2 separate mass shootings overnight. Among the victims, a child and 2 teenagers. One of them is dead now. CBS 2's V. Nguyen is live at Comer Children's Hospital where those young victims had been taken. V.
Suzanne, good morning. Those 3 boys were among 8 people shot in Inglewood. A 14-year-old boy was shot in the back. He was taken here to Comer Children's Hospital where he later died. 2 other boys, an 11-year-old and a 15-year-old, are still recovering this morning in fair condition. Now, officers were called last night around 11:30 to 61st and Carpenter for multiple people shot. Police believe there was a large gathering in the street when 4 men walked up and started shooting. In total, 8 people, 3 boys and 5 men were wounded. They were all taken to different hospitals to be treated. But at this hour, 4 of those victims have since died, including the 14-year-old boy and 3 men who have not been identified yet.
It's a hard task to bring and add to the total of children that have been struck down. And now we add another child to that list, unfortunately. 14-year-old.
The July 4th murder of 7-year-old Natalie Wallace. And tonight her father made an emotional plea right on the block where her life was stolen.
Justice finale.
Justice finale.
The dreams Nathan Wallace had for his daughter Natalie and the times they spent together were stolen when a gunman opened fire right here on the 4th of July.
It hurts me that my youngest daughter is no longer here, that I would not be able to talk to her, hold her, tell her anything, her bedtime stories, anything.
The 100 block of North Latrobe, where the 7-year-old was shot in the head as she played with her siblings outside, is now lined with teddy bears, flowers, and balloons, as Chicago grieves yet another senseless killing.
To see my daughter on the table with a gunshot wound to the forehead.
The death of Natalie Wallace leaving an impression on the Austin community.
If black lives don't matter to us, how in the hell is it supposed to matter to anybody else? That's what I want to know.
Then around 1:15 this morning, a call for another mass shooting near 15th and Millard Avenue in North Lawndale. Police say a group of people were lighting fireworks on the sidewalk when someone drove by and started shooting towards the crowd. A 20-year-old woman was shot in the head and stomach. She died at Mount Sinai Hospital.
An innocent victim, an 8-year-old boy killed in a shooting at the River Chase Galleria that left 3 others injured this afternoon. We begin tonight with the youngest victim. Roy Tay Giles Jr. His mother gave us permission to use his picture, although on camera she could not find the words to speak on the senseless tragedy that claimed his life.
I'm extremely saddened to report that an 8-year-old male victim was pronounced deceased shortly after arriving at Children's Hospital.
It was a heartbreaking moment as earlier today the mother found out with several loved ones that her son's life had been lost in this senseless tragedy. We spoke with the mother of 8-year-old Rhoda Gills, who confirmed to us he was a victim. Today, he had dozens of people coming out to show support for his family outside of Children's Hospital. We also spoke with an eyewitness who hid in the children's store and saw it all unfold.
And then I just heard the shooting, and then they told us like to hide in the closet. So I just took off running because I was so scared.
I reached out to Deandra Ellis. Her mother hid in the children's store at the time of the shooting as well and called her as everything was going on.
Shot rang out that sounded like a cannon, and everybody just kind of took shelter. The store manager did close the store down immediately, and as they were viewing things on the camera, they could see the little boy who was laying on the ground with blood coming out of him. And also the mother of the young child was knocking on the window saying, "Help, my son is dead."
Learned tonight that 8-year-old Roy Tay Giles Jr. attended Bessemer City Schools and was heading into the 3rd grade.
In Atlanta, an 8-year-old girl was killed while riding with her mom and a family friend. She was one of 23 people shot there this weekend.
This is heartbreaking. Police tell us it was an 8-year-old girl shot and killed in Southwest Atlanta. Investigators say someone fired shots at the car she was riding in with her mother. It happened here along University Avenue and Pryor Road just before 10 last night. Police say the driver was trying to get into a parking lot on Pryor Road, but a group of people with guns was blocking it. They say someone then fired several shots at the car. The girl's mom and a friend were also inside. They drove her to Atlanta Medical Center, where that 8-year-old did not survive.
Help me, help my baby. She was only 8 years old. We understand the frustration of Rayshard Brooks. We understand. We ain't got nothing to do with that. We innocent. We didn't mean no harm. My baby didn't mean no harm. Somebody knows something.
They say Black Lives Matter. You killed your own. Killed your own this time. Just because of barrier. They killed my baby because she crossed the barrier and made a U-turn. You killed a child. She ain't do nothing to nobody.
They didn't give us time to make a U-turn. They started shooting on my car before we could even make a U-turn. Shooting my tires out. Like, why?
But Black Lives Matter.
My baby was shot in her bed.
Killing your own.
Nobody there to help
You
me.
killed an 8-year-old child.
Nobody.
She ain't did nothing to now one of y'all. She just wanted to get home to see her cousin. That's all she wanted to do.
Talk about a violent holiday. That young girl was among 23 people shot between 10 last night and 4 this morning, involving 4 different incidents in Atlanta.
Perfect child. That's how Ayofimi Bryant remembers her 6-year-old nephew, Jace Young.
And I know he was scared. I know he was scared. And I know he was looking for his mom. He is a baby.
Devastated, the Bryant family says Jace was watching fireworks with his sister at a birthday party in the Bayview when a bullet hit his body.
A horrific crime, and I think this family deserves better. I think our city deserves better, and definitely this child deserves better.
Jace was the youngest of 4, and his dream was to change the world with technology.
And he was like the most perfect child. He was so sweet. He loved to read. He loved his video games. He loved computers. He just loved learning.
No arrests have been made and no description of a suspect is available at this time.
And in southeast Washington, D.C., an 11-year-old boy was shot and killed.
11-year-old Davon McNeil's grandfather says the boy was running into this building last night to grab a phone charger on the way to a community cookout. That's when he says gunshots rang out and the 11-year-old fell to the ground.
He loved the community, though. He definitely liked to get out and do positive things within the community.
Davon McNeil's grandfather, John Ayala, says the young athlete was passionate about sports, school, and the community, with big dreams of becoming an NFL star.
This is another kid that's not out there causing problems and not doing anything negative, and all of a sudden he's tragically shot down in a community where he should not have been shot.
Growing up, Ayala says McNeil was always at his mother's side, whether it be fighting against violence or getting people together for community cookouts.
like the one they were planning on attending last night.
And when he stepped out the car, the shots rang. He fell to the ground. The mother thought that he was ducking to not get hit, and come to find out he had got shot.
But he says his grandson isn't the first child in D.C. to be shot and killed by being at the wrong place at the wrong time. In July 2018, Micaiah Wilson was killed when a masked man opened fire on a crowd of people as she was making her way to the ice cream truck. And last July, just blocks away from where this latest shooting happened, 11-year-old Karan Brown was murdered during a fight in Southeast.
It's not going to stop with him. It's going to be another young kid that's going to be shot and killed if we don't get out here and try to put a dent in this.
And it doesn't stop there. Memphis, Cleveland, Baton Rouge, and Omaha all reported multiple shootings, several ending in deaths and many people hurt.